Hey everyone, Pastor Steve here again with a couple of updates. Thank you so much for tuning in and continuing to follow our updates and things that are going on here in and through Discovery. Hey, last week we sent out a bunch of stuff around the topic of generosity, ways that we can be generous during this moment, and we want to continue that conversation. Our one of our elders, Scott Palmer, is going to be hosting a Zoom meeting on Friday night, 8 p.m. The link will be in this email. And this is going to be a time for us to just share some thoughts, ideas, stirrings, ways that God might be leading you towards generosity during this time. And we would love to hear from as many of you as possible. And again, spend an intentional moment dreaming together about what God might want to do in and through Discovery to be a blessing, to be good news in a very tangible way to our friends, neighbors, co-workers, to local businesses here, other organizations that are doing good work. So join us Friday night at 8 p.m. in that Zoom meeting. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And again, what is God stirring in you during this time? Hey, here's a thought for us today. I think in this moment of disruption, one of the first things, one of the easiest things to give up is our practices, right? Our spiritual disciplines. And I've spent a little bit of time, recently kind of thinking about Psalm 23, the good shepherd, right, who restores our soul. And for me, this has been, again, a moment where some of the easiest things to move off of my plate, my sort of regular rhythm of life, have been the practices. And yet, in a moment of disruption like this, there's also, I think, some space to engage those practices, to implement new rhythms, to reimagine what all of that looks like. And so my encouragement, my challenge to you is to take advantage of that as we have an opportunity to reimagine what life looks like and create new rhythms. This could be a great time to step into or step more deeply into our practices. So I just wanted to give you a couple of ideas, challenges, encouragements around each practice. The first one we considered this year is the practice of Sabbath. And I don't know about you, but for me, for my family, right now we're in this moment where every day feels the same. And so when it comes to this practice of Sabbath, what can we do to make one day a little bit different than the rest? Do we eat a meal in a different part of the house? Do we sort of reorder our schedule? Are there ways to create space for joy and gratitude and reflection? How can you reimagine the Sabbath during this time of social distancing? Then fasting. My challenge and invitation for you, this is what I will be doing, is giving up one meal a week and then spending that 20 to 30 minutes in prayer, praying for my family, for our church, for our city, for our world, whatever that list of things is for you. Take some time while you're not engaging in that meal to then engage in prayer and see what God does with that. Another idea, I've heard a lot of people considering this too, is to take a day to fast from the news or from your social media feed, Twitter, whatever it is that kind of sucks you in. Take a day to just disengage from that. The third practice that we're actually talking about right now as a community is the practice of silence and solitude. And again, I've heard a lot of tension around this because it feels like there already is a lot of solitude with social distancing. And so how do you kind of draw the line or create some difference between solitude and social distancing? And so my encouragement to you would be to just find even 5 minutes in your day where you can pause and take a deep breath and disengage from all the other stuff that's going on in your life so that you can be in the presence of God and hear from God. You can allow the good shepherd to restore your soul. So whatever you need to do to find that 5 minutes of solitude, try doing that every day and see what God does with that. All right, everyone, grace and peace, and hopefully we will see you on Friday as we dream together about what we can do to be a generous community during this moment.